You know, in troubling times like these, it's always appropriate to have a good movie about a psychopath. Let's review Unhinged. Unhinged stars Russell Crowe, Karen Pistorius, and is directed by Derek Bort. What is up, guys? It's time to review the first theatrically released movie during the pandemic, Unhinged. But by the time my theater opened, New Mutants and Tenet were already out, so I opted to go see those. But I definitely wanted to get around to seeing Unhinged, and I had quite a few people reach out to me and say, hey, this movie's worth checking out, actually. So I wanted to go see it. And you know what? I do love a good, like, psychopath type movie. Think John Ryder and The Hitcher, okay? This is very similar, not exact, but very similar in premise to just the one guy that you accidentally have some kind of dealing with. It could be just bumping into the guy, you know, and it just, a little thing like that would just set him off. And that's what Unhinged is. I mean, really, if you wanted to compare Russell Crowe's character, who is simply referred to as the man, to John Ryder, they're two completely different characters. But the circumstances around those characters are kind of similar because they make the prey's life a living hell. And boy, does the man do that in Unhinged. So first off, quick plot synopsis. We have our main character, Rachel. She's having a bad day as it is, a bad year, I guess you could say. You know, she is in the process of getting a divorce. Her son is in between all this. And she's just that type of person that constantly is late. And a lot of people can relate to this. There's people that just can't show up on time. So that's her thing. So once she gets out on the road and she's already in a hurry, of course, there is a possibility of tippers flaring. And so this character, the man, played by Russell Crowe, shows up beside her and he tells her,
accept my apology?
Just ignore him.
Well, if you could just do the same, we could press reset.
I don't have anything to apologize for. Can you go, please?
you were a little rude with me back there. Just a small apology and you can go about your day. And she's already in a pissed off mood anyway, so she pretty much tells him to suck it. And so right there, that pretty much sets him off, and she is in his crosshairs for the rest of the movie. He wants to make her life a living hell. And just to reference back a little bit, this movie pretty much sets up the type of character that this guy is. There is an extremely violent act at the beginning of this movie, and after that scene, you already know that this guy is completely insane, just at his wit's end, and he doesn't care if he kills anybody from this point on. And this is a character that we see in life from time to time. They don't take it to this extreme, but you know, just that character that like everything in their life is just completely stacked against them, on their shoulders, and there's no way out. And so they don't care about law enforcement anymore. They're just so angry that they want to just completely obliterate anybody that's in their path. And this is a road rage movie. And thinking back, I can't think of too many movies that are just centered basically around road rage. Because even in The Hitch of John Ryder, this wasn't a road rage type of situation. But this movie, 100% just completely centers around that, and that's irresistible because in this day and age especially, we can all relate to this. We probably see this every day. Especially in those high populated cities. Like I've been in LA traffic and I've been in New York traffic. I can see where road rage comes from. And if I could share a little story, I remember being in Orlando, Florida a few years ago, and we got off the exit and we were waiting at the stoplight, and there were these two cars to the right of us, and both guys got out of their vehicle and they were ready to go. They were both gonna fight right there. I believe one of them even had his shirt off. And my wife literally wanted to step out of our car and go over there and try to defuse the situation. I said, are you freaking crazy? So I literally had to physically pull my wife back and say, no, you are not doing that. They could kill you. One of them could have a knife. One of them could have a gun. And this movie just really brought back that situation tenfold. You know, because who knows where these two guys' lives went after that. One of them could have still been chasing the other one. It could have been a death, who knows? But let's get down to the nuts and bolts of the movie. Is it any good? I think it's very good, actually. I think it's very effective. For a Sunday afternoon, which I just got through watching this, it was good. I enjoyed it. It passed 2 hours and we walked out with a smile on our face. It's not life-changing or anything like that. This is one of those just premise-oriented movies that you can relate to. Road rage, and this checks that box nicely. You know, you got some amazing acting by Russell Crowe, as always. I mean, Russell Crowe, Academy Award winner. I think he's won twice. But he is very convincing as this guy with road rage. I mean, he physically even looks the part. This is the biggest I've ever seen Russell Crowe. I don't know if he purposefully gained all that weight, because he kind of looks like John Goodman sometimes in this movie. But man, what a presence he was in this. And anything that was in his path was toast, and you bought it. There was no question whatsoever. You did not want to get in his way. And let's talk about violence a little bit, because in a movie like this, you're going to have violence. It surprised me. I'm not saying it's completely filled with violence, but the scenes where this character has an altercation with another character and there's violence involved, it's pretty damn bloody and realistic. And it's abrupt too. This is a blunt force trauma type of character. And for a guy that's this stressed out, he's actually pretty intelligent along the way too. He's able to work out his plan of action along the way to make Rachel's life a living hell. And he's always 2 steps ahead of her because she is completely just stressed out of her mind. Now, aside from the violence, this is a movie that has a lot of like high-speed chases. You know, there's a lot of scenes where this character is chasing Rachel. They're in their vehicles, and it's pretty exhilarating. And so the scenes where there's not like a lot of violence and blood, it's still pretty much nail-biting. I'd even say I was even more on the edge of my seat during the scenes where he's coming after her than the actual scenes of violence. So that's a testament to how effective this movie is, actually. Now, as far as any cons, there have been a lot of movies like this, in this ballpark, you know, and this one doesn't really break any new ground. And so if you're gonna present a similar premise, you want your characters to really shine. Of course, Russell Crowe does. But for some reason, there was kind of a disconnect for me with the character Rachel and her son. They're not bad. The acting is great, especially by Rachel. But if I compared it to, like, say, The Hitcher, where you got C. Thomas Howell, for some reason, his performance in that movie, especially when you combine Jennifer Jason Leigh, I just felt so much more for them. And maybe it comes down to the filmmaking. I don't know what it is. It's hard for me to put my finger on it. But at the end of the day, whatever was going to happen to these 2 characters, of course I was rooting for them. But I wasn't like gripping my seat saying, please get away from this guy, please get away from this guy. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was just, they're serving their purpose. And I think that's my problem. I was just comparing them to other characters that are in situations like this. I mean, hell, you could even take like Speed with Keanu Reeves. Sandra Bullock's character in that movie, I was just right there with her the whole time. I wanted her to survive this movie so bad. There was just this chemistry there between her and Keanu Reeves along the way, and I just didn't get that in this. But overall, I still had a decent time with the movie. It was a fun Sunday afternoon. Definitely give it a straight up humdrum. So anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Unhinged. Let me know in the comments your thoughts if you've seen it. Also, be sure to come up to Killer Flicks. We'll talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays we do Free for Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.